Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This installment is going to be dedicated to my chakra series. If you have not checked it out for the intro or the root chakra, please feel free to do so. This video is going to be all about the sacral, which is the next chakra up in my chakra series. So we're going to refer back to the diagram I had showed you the first time. This is the chakras roadmap. So the last video we talked about the root chakra, and now we're going to be talking about the sacral, which is orange, and it's right underneath the navel and above the root chakra. So we're just going to move right into it, and I'm referring back to my notes here in my personal book here. So this chakra is orange. It deals with emotions and relationships. It also deals with creativity, sexual energy, and it's on. I'm just going to read off from my notes here just to kind of briefly talk about it, and then I'm going to give you some tips on how to engage in this chakra and start your healing with this. So the sacral chakra, like I said, it deals with your emotions and it deals with relationships, and its prime function deals with sensitivity and sensuality. Its physical property is deals with your life force energy, feeling alive, your energy, sex, and creativity. Anatomical connections. It deals with your spleen, your urinary tract, your kidneys, your ovaries, your uterus, your blood sugar, and your gonads. And your gonads. The emotional connections connected to the chakra is intimacy and letting go. Taste, emotional needs, emotional cleansing, warmth, and desires. Incense that you could use for this chakra is saffron and jasmine. Blocked physical symptoms of this chakra can be painful periods and infertility. Blocked emotional symptoms with this chakra is usually a low sex drive and having creative blocks. If you are to use essential oils for this chakra, it would be applied slightly below the navel, above the root chakra, and I'll be showing you guys exactly where on me it is. Balancing this chakra will help with your sexual organs, your large intestine, your lower vertebrae, your pelvis, your hips, your urinary bladder, relationships, sexuality, and intimacy. This chakra primarily deals with pleasure, and it is blocked by guilt. So, that being said, what do you blame yourself for? And it's very, very important to keep in mind that when you're dealing with any of the chakras, you have to keep in mind not only its physical aspect, but its mental, emotional, and spiritual aspect. Because when you're dealing with the chakras, it all ties into our well-being, and we have to recognize each and every part of that. The sense that corresponds with this chakra is taste. If you are to dive into mantras with your chakras, this chakra is Vam. Other oils you could use would be sandalwood, ganarium. I might be butchering that, so I'm going to show you. Oh, sorry. Ganarium and orange. This is also known as the water chakra, which helps us to feel. And if you are to incorporate any form of sound healing, the note you would use is D. So now I'm just going to give you some personal tips and stuff on how to engage in this chakra. Usually when I'm doing energy healings for other people, I notice that this chakra is very, very dense for people. It's most of the time underactive or even blocked altogether. This chakra tends to have a lot of energetic attachments or etheric cords. All that means is that you typically have a, I'm trying to see how I could say this. When you have an energy cord to something, it means you are energetically attached to something, whether it be a place or a memory or a person. And this chakra also tends to be very, very dense for us trauma survivors or even trauma victims. And, most people don't tend to want to, you know, they either feel guilty for indulging in their desires, or they don't want to believe that they can accept pleasure in a like they either don't think they're worthy, or they just don't take the time to really engage in the things that they feel guilty for. They just shut it out, and they don't, or they're just typically in denial about the things that they blame themselves for. And it's very, very important to be honest with yourself when you're dealing with any of the chakras, because when it becomes to your own energetic healing, working with any of the chakras, you have to be willing to, you know, be truthful to yourself and dig deep to what is the things that is blocking me. Because if you typically just don't, if you're trying to open all your channels and you skip around the chakras, like you go to the root and you work on your heart and your third eye, that's great, but you really have to work from the ground up if you want to be truly open and receptive and truly whole as a being. So I'm going to show you very quickly where the sacral chakra actually is. So I'm trying to back up here. So this was where the root was, which is close to your privates. And I'm going to be showing you, sorry for the happy trail, I don't care if you judge. So judging from your belly button and your root, it's going to be right there in the middle. So it would be right here on me. That's where your sacral deals with. So I'm going to be showing you some gemstones that you can incorporate into your energy healing. I love using gemstones for the chakras. And this is typically going to be your orange gemstones. So I have 3 examples if you're not familiar with gemstones, so you can have a visual as I'm talking about them. So this is orange calcite. This is a rough stone, obviously, it's not smooth. This is great for your sacral chakra. Also carnelian. This is another orange stone. This is tumbled, so it's smooth. And then another great chakra stone. This is not orange, but it is a powerful stone for the chakra, which is golden tiger's eye right there. You can see the bands. This is tumbled, even though it's not like round. Tumbled typically means it's just smooth. Rough is obviously rough. It's bumpy, has edges and stuff. So those 3 gemstones are really great to incorporate for this chakra. So I'm just going to show them again. I'm trying to show them in the light for you guys. Okay. Now, if you are into energy work, what you can do is you can incorporate energy orbs. And what you do is, when you work with energy orbs, you want to first stimulate the hand chakras, which is a minor chakra point. It's in the very, very center of your palms. And you can either stimulate your hand chakras by either rubbing them or clapping, just getting them stimulated, or if you have a really, really hard time, you can also hold gemstones to activate them. But typically, once that's activated, you'll kind of feel like a warm, tingling fuzziness feeling. And once you start feeling that chakra open, what you want to do is, when you create an energy orb for this chakra, what you're going to do is you're going to think about what this chakra stands for. So this deals with emotions, relationships, creativity, and sexuality. And you want to be thinking of these things, but in a very, very positive manner. Obviously, you don't want to be thinking of things that you feel guilty for or you blame yourself for, because what you do is whatever emotions or thoughts or feelings that you put into this energy orb is going to be in that energy orb. And if you put that on yourself, then you're just going to be absorbing or enhancing that negative aspect. So what you do is you're going to rub or clap your hands, and you're going to be thinking about what the chakra stands for. And I typically like to close my eyes to help me focus. And what I do is I'll picture the color orange, because that's what the chakra the color is for this chakra. And I'll just slowly start letting my hands expand out. You also want to be visualizing with this if you're not, if you can't visually see energy like I can. And as you practice, you'll get easier for this. But you're going to typically just keep pushing your hands further apart and try to form a ball until eventually you get to a pretty good size, which is about right here. And what you do is, once you're finally ready, you want to stand up and place it on that chakra and just hold it until you feel it's necessary, until you feel that it's full. And I'm going to back up and do this. So when you put this the energy orb in, you should let it come in at the chakra point, and it should fill all the way until the very back, which is sort of like your lower vertebrae. And I'm not going to be showing you my backside for that, so I'm sorry. But yeah, so when you put in the energy orb, you want to put your hands here and let it fill your whole being within that chakra point all the way until the back. Now, another powerful thing you can do for this chakra is, of course, you want to engage in what the chakra stands for, and even affirmations. So this chakra, like I said, deals with emotions and relationships, and creativity and sexual energy. So it's important to recognize those things within you. So it's very important to recognize what your emotions are, to take a deep look at what relationships do I have in my life. Are they toxic? Are they beneficial to me? Have I been hurt in the past? It's important to look at all those things. And then, are you a creative person? I believe that even if you're not typically an artistic person or a writer per se or anything like that, that we all have the potential to be creative. And it's just about opening up and recognizing what strengths that you have. And like I said, this chakra also deals with sexuality. So if you have a typically high sex drive, this chakra could also be overactive or underactive. If you have a low sex drive, obviously it's underactive. And I'm going to be sharing with you guys some symptoms of what it means when this chakra is underactive or overactive, for you guys who are not aware. So I'm just going to read them off on this list. If your sacral is underactive, you may experience rigid physical body and attitude, which means you are not really in touch with your body, and you may have a kind of stubborn attitude. You have fear of sex. You may have poor social skills. You may deny yourself of pleasures of life in general. You may have excessive boundaries, meaning you have very, very guarded walls. You may have a lack of desire or passion within yourself, and you may typically feel powerless to your life and your situation. Now, if it's overactive in energy, it means you may have an addiction to sex, drugs, or alcohol, or, addiction goes in so many ways, but those are just some examples. Hoarding can also be one, shopping, like any form of addictive behavior. You may have mood swings. You may have excessive sensitivity, which means you may typically cry or burst out very, very easily. You may be overpowering or invasive to others, like if you're overboard with your extrovert. You may have emotional codependency issues, and you may also have obsessive attachments to things that have either happened to you or to just physical things in general. So now we're going to talk about guided imagery for the chakras. This is something I like to typically tell people to try out. So for this exercise, it's going to be for this chakra, of course. You're going to imagine the color orange, and the element is water. Think of running water, or a bath, or an ocean. Any body of water will do. Imagine water flowing down a stream or waves rolling in and out on the shore. Think of the sound vom. So, although it seems typically easy, if you have trouble visualizing, obviously you want to keep trying again, again, and again. I'm just trying to give you as many tools as I can to help you in this process. But like I said, sound healing is also amazing. Incorporating herbs or eating fruits. Like, since this color of this chakra is orange. If you don't have access to herbs or crystals, what you can do is you can also wear clothing the color orange to simulate this chakra. Or you can go on YouTube and look for the sound D that goes with this chakra. And what you do is you just listen to that and kind of meditate on it, like I said, like with what the chakra stands for, and also reveal to yourself what things may you have blamed yourself for. Are you in touch with your emotions? What does your past and present relationships deal with? And deal with any creative blocks that you may have. And affirmations are also a very, very powerful thing you can use with this chakra, since it deals with emotions and relationships. So a lot of us tend to be empaths, and I don't care who you say you are. I believe we all are a form of empath. There's different type of empaths. I'm just going to read off some affirmations, which are just positive statements to align your thoughts and body with, to bring your vibration higher. So I'm just going to read them off to you. I allow myself to release negative emotions which no longer serves me. I free myself of all emotions that are not mine to carry, and I willingly give them back to their source. My emotional and energetic boundaries are strong and pure. It is safe for me to share my authentic self with those around me. I welcome positive and uplifting vibrations to my space. Now, I'm also going to be talking about, since this chakra does deal with emotions, I'm going to talk about what happens if you suppress emotions. And typically, if you suppress emotion long enough, it can manifest in a physical way. So I'm going to tell you what happens with what area of the body, if you have muscle tension, soreness, or just stiffness, what emotions deal with that. So if you have a lot of muscle tension between the shoulder blades, you are typically holding on to burdens and responsibilities. In the upper back, you may be experiencing a lot of grief, sorrow, and sadness. In the lower back, which deals with this chakra, you may be holding on to a lot of guilt, shame, and unworthiness. If you have a lot of neck tension, you may be experiencing a lot of fear or repressed self-expression, which also deals with the throat chakra. If you have tension in the middle back, you typically are dealing with insecurities and you're feeling powerless. And if you're having stomach issues, either muscle tension or just digestion, this is dealing with the inability to process your emotions. So, like I said, it's very, very important in general just to be in touch with your emotions. And some people, they either have fear or they're just not aware of what or how much you're truly, truly holding on to. So I'm going to tell you, if you're feeling a negative emotion, how do you grow from that? How do you move past the stuck feeling of being in that emotion? So if you're experiencing any bitterness, bitterness typically shows you where you need to heal and where you're still holding on to judgments from others and on yourself. If you are dealing any type of resentment, it shows you that you're living in the past and you're not allowing the present to be as it is. If you're feeling any form of discomfort, then you need to pay attention to right now what is happening, because you're being given the opportunity to change, to do something different than you typically would do, which, typically goes with change. If you're experiencing anger typically shows you what you're passionate about and what your boundaries are and what you believe needs to be changed about the world. If you're experiencing a lot of disappointment shows you that you tried for something and that you did not give up into apathy and that you still care. If you're experiencing a lot of guilt shows you that you're still living in other people's expectations of what you should do. If you're experiencing a lot of shame shows you that you're internalizing other people's beliefs about who you should be or who you are, and that you need to reconnect with yourself. If you're experiencing a lot of anxiety shows you that you need to wake up right now and that you need to be present and that you're stuck in the past or you're living in fear of the future. And if you're experiencing a lot of sadness and depression, sadness just shows you the depth of your feelings and the depth of how much you care for others in this world. So typically when you're dealing with emotions, you want to remember, separate yourself from the people or the situation that happened. Recognize what that emotion is trying to teach you and try to deal with that and see what you can learn or how you can go on about that and try to get a new perspective if need be. And don't forget to reach out to others if you need to, typically just have someone to vent to or help you heal or get another perspective. And remember, the chakra also deals with relationships. So think back to, was there any past relationships that I'm holding on to? Is there past relationships that really, really hurt me and you're just not over it? Is there current relationships in your life that is not beneficial to you and that is toxic to you? Do you need to set boundaries? And then, do you have any creative blocks? Are you having trouble with your imagination, or maybe you're a writer, or you're an artist, or any form of creative block? Is there a way you can revisit that, take a step back, and go back into it again? And this chakra also deals with sexuality. Are you comfortable in your skin? Are you comfortable having intimacy with others or yourself? So that's it. I have all for this chakra video. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions regarding this chakra, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I'm sorry that these videos are so long. I just want to get as in-depth as I can to give you guys tools so you guys can start your own chakra healing journey. And if you need any more advice than what I've said in the video, feel free to comment down below in the comments, and I'll feel free to give you any more information I can to help you with this process. But don't forget, don't just jump around with this chakra process. You really want to start at the root. Take time, even if it takes several weeks or months, and then go to the next one, which is the sacral. Now, the next video I'll be doing will be the next chakra up, so take time to engage in this chakra as long as need be. The next chakra I'm going to be talking about is the navel, or solar plexus. So thank you guys for watching, and blessed be.